Welcome to episode 3 of Landon's Guide to High School Math. I'm Landon Pitts. I'm a high school sophomore from the US, and today we are doing ratios and rates. Now, this unit is a lot longer than usual, so what we are going to do is we're going to divide this video up into various parts. We're going to divide it up into 2 parts. The first part will go over, let's see here. We got interest ratios, visualize. We're going to do quizzes 1 and 2 for part 1, and then quizzes 3 and 4 for part 2. So, let's get after it. Basic ratios. So what is a ratio? A ratio is a number where it is a number over a number. So right here, this is a ratio. Maybe we plug in some numbers. Maybe 2 over whatever number. 5. This is a ratio. 3 over 4. This is a ratio. And 2 over 6. This is a ratio. Now be careful. In some of these problems, we'll want to have simplified and unsimplified ratios. I'll get to that later. Let's look at the first question together. John C.O. notices that there are 13 right-handed players on his baseball team and 2 left-handed players. What is the ratio of left-handed players to right-handed players? So, we take a number over here, and then we take it over here. We want left to right. So we have, see, it says 2 left and then 13 right. So that means our ratio is 2 to 13 because we have left to right. So left to right. So we take that from our values. So 2 to 13. So it can also be for every 13. This can work. This can work. There are many different ways, but it doesn't matter how they ask it. Just look for the 2 numbers, and then you have your answer. So it's 2 and 13. So it is A. So here is the explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are some videos, and you can always ask me for help. But otherwise, happy studying. Okay, let's do our next problem. Dean loves rocks. Altogether, they have 6 pieces of granite, 3 pieces of marble, and 14 pieces of sandstone. What is the ratio of pieces of sandstone to total pieces of rock in Dean's collection? So we have pieces of rock, and then we have a total pieces. So we do 6, 3, and 14 because we have 6, 3, and 14. That's our total, correct? So if we add 6 and 3 and 14, what will this give us? So you can go ahead and pause this right now, and we'll get back to it. 23. So 23 is our total. So if we're doing 2 total, we know 23 is going to be last, correct? Because we're looking at part to whole relationships right here. So 23 must be last, and as we can see, there's only one answer that represents that. So C is our answer, but now let's figure out how we know 14 is our other one. We have pieces of sandstone, so there's 14 pieces of sandstone. So B has that as well, but it doesn't have the whole. So C must be our final answer. If you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation, and here are some videos if you need help, and happy studying. Okay, let's do our next problem. The table shows the number of different types of birds that are swimming at a lake. What is the ratio of swans to total birds? So we have another part to whole. So we have swans. How many swans are there based on this graph? 1. So there's 1 swan. And how many are there total? If we add all these numbers. 25. So our ratio must be 125 because we have part to whole. So D must be our answer here. Here's the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are some videos, and you can always ask me for help. And happy studying. You guys are doing amazing. Let's move on. The table shows the number of students who can play each instrument in the marching band. What is the ratio of students who play trumpets to students who play flute? So we have part to part. So we have trumpet to flute. So let's look at trumpet, let's look at flute. What's our ratio going to be? I'm going to let you guys have a crack at it. 15-11. If you got that right, great job. Because as we can see here, we have 15 for trumpet, as we can see right here, and then 11 for flute. So A must be our final answer. So here's the answer explanation. And yeah, these are all the ways you could say it. So like we did say 2 for every, and I did represent colon right here. That's going to be the main way just for the purpose of speed. But you can you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Doesn't matter. If your teacher allows anything, I would just go with like one that's easiest. But if she wants a specific one, or he, then just memorize the one or learn the one that they want. So, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, good job. Question 5. What is the ratio of sharks to total animals? For reference, here's the sharks. So let's count the amount of sharks. How many sharks are there? 2. So we know that 2 must be our first one. And we want the sharks to total. So first off, we can eliminate these because 8 is not our amount of sharks. And then how many animals are there in total? So that is including all these animals. What is our total? 10. So 10 must be our final answer. 2 to 10. So now what? So is 2 to 10, is that a complete ratio or is it unsimplified? So what an unsimplified ratio is it's a number where it's not simplified all the way. You see, for ratios, if two numbers have a factor, then it's not simplified. To simplify a ratio, we have to divide by a common factor. So all even numbers have a factor of 2. So if we divide 2 and 10, we get 1/5 because we divided 2 for each side. It must be 2 and 2 only. And all numbers, it is not possible to have an even number over an even number. That's not possible. No matter what the numbers are, they will always be an improper. Now, if it's an odd over an even, well, this can depend because sometimes you can have something like 7 over 14. Now 7 is a factor of 14, and 7 is a factor of itself, so it should be 1/2. So for that one, it depends. For odd over odd, same thing. It also depends. You could have 3 over 9. These are both odd numbers, but they're both divisible by 3. So you would get 1/3. So the only time where it'll never be a proper ratio, it'll be even over even. If there's even one odd number, then it will either be simplified or it won't be. It depends. But anyways, 210 is the answer. Here's the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Great job, everyone. What is the ratio of chicks to eggs? This is a chick. So chicks to eggs. So let's count the chicks. 3. So B and D are eliminated. And now we're looking at eggs. So how many eggs are there? 5. We get these. So 5. So this is our answer. C. Here's the explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, for this last problem, I want you guys to take a crack at it on your own, and then we'll go over the answer, and then I'll give you the explanation. So the answer is A. So what we do here is we take the peas in the bowl, which is 12 in the bowl, and then peas in this hair, which is 7 in the hair. So it's 12 to 7. So it's 12 for every 7. Same thing. So that means that here, that is our answer. If you got that right, great job. If you didn't, here are the videos. You can always ask for help, and happy studying. Okay, so we have finished that first one, and as you can see, we do have a lot of coursework even for 2 quizzes, so that's why I'm dividing this up into 2 parts. So, and this one will probably be longer because I think we have less material for the next episode. So, Kenzie makes quilts from blue to purple pieces of fabric. The diagram shows the ratio of blue pieces to purple pieces. The table shows the number of purple pieces and the number of total pieces that Kenzie will make on two of her quilts. Based on the ratio, complete the missing values in the table. So, we have quilt A, which is purple pieces, and B, 20, and then 56 total pieces. So here is our strategy here. And, I think I know why. I think it's because I was doing testing for this, but basically here we have each bar represents this amount of pieces. That'll be 35. 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 4 is 32. So we have our part to hold. So we have this many blocks here, which is 8. And then we have this many. Wow, that's embarrassing. Shut up. Okay, Okay, let's just move on, okay? Let's just start this over. No, it's not sorry. Okay. We're losing off track. Sorry. The school band bought cheese and pepperoni pizzas in the ratio representing the tape diagram for her end of year party. Based on the ratio, if they bought 6 cheese pizzas, how many total pieces did they buy? So we have this many cheese and this many pepperoni. So what is our ratio here? 3/1, because we have cheese to pepperoni. Now, anything over 1 is just itself. So this is technically a ratio of 3. Even whole numbers are ratios. It's crazy. So any number that's real is a ratio. So 6, that's a ratio. So if they bought 6, how many total did they buy? So we want to find a number where there's 6 to 1. So if we know this is a ratio here, we need to figure out if we have 6 cheese, how many total pieces did they buy, which I'll represent as x. We want to cross multiply to find the value. So 3 times x and 6 times 1. We know 6 times 1 is equal to 6 because any number times 1 is itself. But what about 3x? It's equal to 3x. A number times a variable is just a combination. Because remember, this can be written as 3x. 3 times x. 3x without parentheses. 3... this could be written as x times 3. It doesn't matter. For the purpose of this tutorial and simplicity, I will write it as 3x without parentheses. Now, to get rid of this 3 and isolate x alone, we divide 3 on both sides. So x is equal to, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. So since x is equal to 2, we are going to, what does this mean for our pepperoni pizzas? We have 2 pepperoni pizzas. Now we know that they bought 6 already. We want to know the total. So 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. So they bought 8 total pizzas. Great job. So, yep, we bought 2 pepperoni and 6 cheese. So they bought 8 total pizzas. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video. And happy studying. Okay. Kawa alternates between walking and running on the track. The diagram shows the ratio of the instances Kawa walks to runs. All of the following diagrams represent equivalent ratios. Which diagram best shows how far in meters Kawa runs when she goes to a total distance of 30 meters? So what we can do is we can just plug it in and we can see how far. We have a total distance of 30. So this means we're going to be adding all the numbers for all choices. So what's 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6? 30. And hey, how about that? That is 30 to 30. So A might be correct. Let's check the other answers just to make sure. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is equal to 50. Whoa, that was a mistake. 50, but that's, okay, so that's not our answer. It has to be 30. Okay, 15. So 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 is equal to 75. That's not equal to our answer either. A must be our answer because it demonstrates a total distance of 30 meters on the track. Okay, so here's our explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video. And we could have solved that with the ratio. But I think using common sense is probably the best idea. But tell you guys what, if we get another problem like that, I will solve it because just in case it's short answer. So bonus question. Bowden is making a prize world for the school fair. The diagram shows the ratio of winning spaces to non-winning spaces. The table shows the numbers of winning and total spaces that could be on the wheel. Based on the ratio, complete the missing values in the table. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a little bit to solve this problem. And if you guys are able to solve this, then I'm good for you. So, I'll go ahead and give you guys some time to solve for this problem. You can always pause if you want. Okay, just for the first time, I'm going to solve this right here. So we have 22 winning spaces for the 1. So we have 10 winning spaces here, which is, so that's 2 times 5, as we were given here 5. So that means we have, winning spaces, which is 10 to 12. So we have 12 here. And then we have total spaces, which is 33. So we got 22. Good, very good, very good. What? There are 5. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Okay, so oh, I see here. So we have total 33. So 11 divided by 3 is 11. So we have a times 2. So we take our total here and multiply it by 2. So we don't worry about the non-winning spaces. So what we're looking at here is the winning spaces. So we have 10. If this was worth 3, then it would be 15. And then for total spaces, it would be worth 20. It would be worth 22. We got that one right, but not the other one. But anyways, here's the video, and happy studying. I'm so sorry, everyone. That is totally my fault. We will see if we can try to improve it on the next one. So, equivalent ratios with equal groups. A math team is working through a set of puzzles. The following diagram describes the numbers of puzzles they studied and not yet started. What is the ratio of puzzles started to total puzzles? So, same idea here. Let's go a little bit faster here. If you want to slow down, you can go ahead and go back. We have 6 over here, which is 6. And then we have, how many are there? There is, that's my fault, I'm sorry. 9. So, here we get the similar fraction. So, is this a similar fraction? No, it is not. So, we have 6, 9. So, we have divided by 3, and then we divided by 3. Because, look, they are the same factor. So, what is 6 divided by 3 and 9 divided by 3? 2/3, very good, very good. So, that means that our ratio is 2/3. So, good job. What? Puzzle started the total. Oh, I calculated the puzzles to not the total. So what's 9 plus 6? 15. Good. So we erase this. And then now let's actually divide by 3 with the actual numbers. So we have 15 divided by 3. What does that equal to? 2 over 5. So that means our answer is actually A. So here's, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos. Happy studying. You're actually doing better if you're getting these right and I'm not. So yeah. So, alright, part to whole again. So we have 8 big fish and for every blank total. So we have 8 here. Now, as we can see, there are 8 already in the diagram. So let's just count the total amount of fish we have here. So we have, let's see here. Well, we know there's 8. And then for little fish, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. So that means we have 10. No, not 10, 18. So 18 is our first answer. And then we have 4 big fish. If we have 8 to 18 and then 4 for every blank total, we can cross multiply again. So we would have 8x is equal to 72. And then we divide by 8 for both sides. Understand? And then we have x is equal to 72 divided by 8 is 9. So 4 for every 9 total fish. Now, notice how you can divide by 2 for both sides here. So, 8 divided by blank is equal to 4. That is divided by 2. So, we have 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. So if you got that right, very, very good. If you didn't, here are the videos, which I'll show in a moment, and the solution. So yes, dividing is the same as dividing by a fraction. So ratios are literally division. So here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, use the following images to complete the sentences describing the ratio of tusks to whiskers. There are 2 tusks for every blank whiskers. So let's take a look at this closely. So tusks. So what are tusks? Well, tusks are these. So tusks are, let me just circle it. They're these things. They're the black things. So we have 2 tusks already. So, or no, tusks. Wait, I'm sorry. This might be embarrassing. What is a tusk? Hang on. What's a tusk? A long point of teeth. Oh yeah, so I am right. So that means that these are tusks, right here. So we already have 2 tusks. We have to count the amount of whiskers. So let's see if I can. I can't zoom in. Awesome. So we get how many? So let me zoom in here. How many do we have? We have, well, I know you can't see me, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 tusks for every 8. And now we use our division trick. So 2 blank 1. So can we divide? We can. What are we dividing by to get 1? 2. And now, since we're doing that, we're doing the same thing for the other side. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that's our answer. So here's the explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos. And happy studying. Okay, next problem. What is the ratio of grandparents to cousins whom the Santos family visited? So let's see what we got here. We got this many grandparents and this many cousins. What's our ratio? 4, 6. Because look, we have 4 grandparents and 6 cousins. Now, is that simplified? Nope, not quite. These are both even, so we can divide these by at least 2. Anything else? Or is that good? This is good. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our ratio is T, 2/3. So here's our explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, let's do a bonus problem that you guys can take a crack on yourselves. Use the following image to complete the sentences describing the ratio of windows with penguins to total windows. So I'll let you guys take a crack at this problem. Okay, if you got this, great job. You guys are amazing. Oh, you're crushing it. Okay, so here's the explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Create double number lines. Corey hikes up a hill with a constant slope. The double number line shows after Corey hikes 3 kilometers, their elevation is 120 meters. Select the double number line that shows the other values of distance and elevation. So, let's see what we have here. We're given that distance and elevation are symmetrical, which means that they're not the same, but they're similar. 3 over 120, because you can see that they're planted on the same line. What is our ratio when we put that together? We divide each one by 3, and we get 1 over 40. I know it might have taken a while to put in a calculator, or do it yourself. So, hey, what do you know? Does this have 140? It does. With this in mind, B is our answer. So that's the trick for this one. Divide by ratios and make it proper. Doesn't sound too hard, right? Here's the video, and happy studying. And if you got that right, good job. One goodie bag contains 2 pieces of candy and 3 small toys. So we can put that in. 2, I am really bad at numbers. 2, 3. So complete the table. So let's see, we have 2 candy and 3 toys. So hey, this one works. So it's B. See, it doesn't seem too hard, right? Just get the ratio for 1, and then it's good. And there's only 2 choices too. So here's the video, and happy studying. The double number line shows the park lets 18 people on the water slide in 3 minutes. Ooh, here we go. We have 318 for 2 of them. But don't be discouraged, because we still have to simplify. 3 over 18. I'm going to let you guys take a crack on this one. What is this? 1/6. Good job. So that means, ooh, we have it for this as well. So now, when we have 2 of them are the same, now we have to make it improper. You're probably wondering, what? Isn't that the opposite of what we want to do? Well, for these problems, we do want to make it improper. To make it improper, we just simply multiply this number by anything, so preferably a whole number. Since we're trying to find, ooh, here we go, we have 14 and 12, so we can multiply by 2, and we can get our answer. So if we multiply by 2, that's another way of either A, dividing the denominator by 2, or B, multiplying the numerator by 2. So what do we want to do? We are going to, well, actually, let me rephrase that. We want to turn this into an improper fraction, right? We're going to multiply these to make it the same. So what is this defined as? 2 over 12. So that means that B is our answer, because it says 14, that's not right. So it's B. So here's the explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. Last problem. 1 bag of Alice's trail mix contains 40 grams of almonds and 30 grams of raisins. Complete the table number line. So we have 40 almonds and 30 raisins. So 40 over 30. So I'll let you guys take another crack at this one. What is it? 4/3. Any number with a 0 at the end means that it can be divided by 10. So divided by 10. So that means it's 4/3. So let's look for a number that can, ooh, we actually don't have that in our choices. But that's a simplified fraction, so that's good to know. So now we can multiply by 2 for each side. So 40 over 30, we can multiply by 2 on both sides. So what does that give us? 80 over 60. So this one says 70. That is wrong. So B is our right answer. It's been B a lot. That's really weird. But anyways, so here's the answer explanation. And look at that, it says times 2. It then times 3 and times 4. If you're doing short answer, then you'll have to do that. But for the purpose of multiple choice, we will simply do what's required. So, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos. And happy studying. Alright, very good. We are almost done with Unit 1. No, not unit. Not this unit. Section 1. Okay, let's see. Ratios of double number lines. The double number line shows that Tony can type 180 words in 2 minutes. Based on the ratio shown in the double number line, how many words can Tony type in 3 minutes? So we have 180 and 2. So we can actually get the rate here. And what that is just it's just repeated. So what's 180 divided by 2? 90. This number is very, very important. What this number means is that we know it's 90 over 1. 90 words per 1 minute. So if we want to find 90 over 1 is equal to x over 3, then 1 times x is 1x, or just x. And then what's 90 times 3? 270. So that's our answer, 270 words. So, yeah, we just multiply by 3, and then we divide by 2 here. So here's the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here are the videos. Well, video, and happy studying. Okay, the double number line shows that 4 kilograms of almonds cost $34. Based on the ratio shown in the number line, what is the cost for 5 kilograms of almonds? So we have 34 over 4. What is that going to give us? So it will give us a decimal, unfortunately. So we do 17 over 2 first, and then we get 8.5. 8.5 times 5. When we're doing times 5, we move the decimal place 1 up, 85, and then divide by 2. Any number divided by 2 will either be ended up with a 0.5 or a 0.0. That is with divide by 2. This will always work. So when it's odd, it'll be 0.5. When it's even, it'll be 0.0, or just a whole number. So 85 divided by 2 is 42.5. So that means that the cost will be 42.5, which, if you want, since we're talking money, we want to put a 0 to round it to the nearest hundredth. It's not necessary if we're just doing in general, but for money, it is necessary because we don't want to have, 0.5, since we're talking money. So, yeah, so we have 8.15. We divide by 4. Here's the division. So here's the explanation. If you got the right, good job. If you didn't, it's the video. And happy studying. Okay. David and Jillian are playing a board game together. Jillian wants to trade her wool cards for David's ore cards. The double number line shows that David will trade 3 ore cards to Jillian for 6 wool cards. Oh, I'm sleepy. Okay. Based on ratio shown in the number line, how many wool cards does Julian need to trade for 4 ore cards? So we want to get 4 ore cards. So we have 3 over 6, which is equal to 1/2. Good. And then we want 4. So 1 times 4 over 2 times 4. So what is this equal to? 4 over 8. So we have 8 wool cards based on that ratio. So here is the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video, and happy studying. Okay, only one more problem. The double number line shows that 5 kilograms of avocados cost $9. Based on the ratio shown in the double number line, what is the cost for 1 kilogram of avocados? We take our ratio, and ooh, yikes, we got prime numbers. This is where it kind of stinks, because now Ooh, yikes. We're going to have to get a little literal here. So, we know that we want 1 kilogram of avocados, which means that we know this is going to be 1. 5 over 5 is 1. So, we get 1 there, but we also need to get 9 to the same thing. So, we want to get 9 over 5 to equivalent with 5 over 5. So, to make this into money, we have to turn this 5 into 100. So we have to do 9 times 20 because 5 times 20 is equal to 100. So we have 9 times 100 to 120, which is 180. Put that over 100 and now simplify the fraction and you get 1.8. And since we're talking money, we want a 0 at the end. So for 1 kilogram, it is 1.80. So there you go. So here's the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, video and happy studying. Okay, so we're almost done with quiz 1, and then we'll do quiz 2, and then we'll leave off the rest of the stuff for part 2. So, okay, nope, we already did that. Okay, relate double number lines and ratio tables. Let's do this. Susan plants her tomato plants in rows. The double number line shows that she plants 8 tomato plants in 1 row. Which table represents the number of tomato plants per row? So let's see what we have here. We have row 1 over 8. So if we want to get any of these numbers, we need to multiply. So 1/8. Let's try A first. So we want 4 rows. So we want what number will give me 4 rows? 4. And then we have plants, so we have to also multiply this by 4, no matter what, if it's correct or not. So what was this equal to? 4 over 32. Good. So far A is correct. Let's check B now. We want 5 rows, so 1 times 5, and then 8 times 5, no matter what. So what will this give me? 5 over 40. So, ooh, it's getting a little up there. Let's try A again. We already know that we have 432. What if we start back at 1 and then multiply by 6? This will give us a more thorough and clearer answer. 8 times 6 is equal to 48. 6 over 48. So, ooh, it says 64. So A is wrong. So B is our answer here. Here is the answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next problem. The double number line shows how many bananas are needed to make 1 loaf of banana bread. Complete the table to show the same information as the double number line. So here we actually have to fill in the table. So this first one is just given. Number of bananas said right here. So 1 is our given. So 1 leaf. Now we have a 5 here. Now, if we take 5 and we divide it by 2 1/2. Well, first off, let's convert the decimals. So 2 1/2 is 2.5. And 5 divided by 2.5, that is equal to 2. Good. So that means that we must have how many loaves for our bananas? 2. And another way we can interpret this is we can put it into a different fraction. So 5 over 2 is 2 1/2, because if we have 2 1/2, to put it into an improper fraction, we do 2 times 2 and then plus 1. So multiplication and then addition. So we get 5 halves, and then we multiply by 2. Because remember, when we multiply by 2, we have 2 options here. We can either multiply the denominator by 2, or we can divide the we can multiply the numerator by 2, or we can divide the denominator by 2. Whatever happens, we get 10 over 2 or just 5. So either way works. I personally don't do that, but that's just an easier way. So now that we have whole numbers, we can do our strategy. So we have 2 times, what do we need to multiply to 4? 2. So now we do 5 times 2 no matter what. What is this equal to? 4 over 10. So that means that here it must be 10. So let's check it. Perfecto. Let's look at our explanation. So here's all that. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos. And happy studying. Okay, so moving on. The double number line shows how many meters a dragonfly can fly in 1 second. Which table represents the rate at which a dragonfly can fly? So we have 1 over 25. Let's try answer choice B first, since it's a little smaller. 1 times 3, because we want 3 seconds, is equal to 3. And then we have to do this no matter what. So what's our answer here? 3 over 75. So B looks correct so far. Let's actually keep going, so then we can just validate A immediately. So we have 1 times 5 over 25. No, not 25 anymore. It's now just... No, it is still 25. That's my fault. Okay, so times 5, and then 25 times 5. What is this equal to? 5 over 125. So B is still correct. Let's try one more. And then we will have validated that it is correct. So we do times 10, because anything times 10, 10 is correct, and times 10. When we multiply by 10, what do we do with the number? We add 0 to it. So we get 10, and then 25 and 10, what is, with our logic, what do we do? We add a 0, so 10 over 150. And as we can see, we have successfully validated B. So we didn't look at A. It probably would have been faster, but hey, now you know if it was a short answer. So that is our answer. So we look at our short answer choices. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. The double number line shows how far a hummingbird can fly in 1 second. Complete the table to show the same information as the double number line. So we have distance 13, 13. Well, that's just given. We have 1, so we just have to put 1 here. And now that's our ratio. So we have 1 over 13. And now I want to find a number that gets to 39. So what number will that be? 3. And how I got that is 39. I had to divide a number by x to get 13. 13 can be put as 13 over 1. And then we have to cross multiply to get 39 equals 13x. Divide by 13 on both sides. And then we get our answer of 3. That's how I got that for here. And now we do the same thing for 1. So our answer here is 3 over 39. So that means that here we need to put 3 here. And now we want to get 10. So instead of multiplying by 3, let's just start over, since we know that 1 is the answer to our previous problem. So let's go ahead and, well, not our previous problem, but our previous chart. So we have 1 and 13. So we have 10, and then, no, not 10. Okay, yes, times 10. 13 times 10. With our logic, do we add a 0 here? We do, 130. Okay, now I actually shouldn't have done that. It is 130, that is correct. I'm gonna purposely get this wrong so that way we can get a bonus question here. So I want you guys to take a crack at it. So I'm gonna get it right now because that is our answer. So here's our answer explanation. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. So yeah, I purposely got that wrong. I want you guys to take a crack at a bonus question. The double number line shows that 1 game of bowling costs $14. Which table represents the cost per game of bowling? So I want you guys to go ahead and take a crack at this problem, and then we'll go through it together.
Can you take a break?
What?
Can you take a break?
For what?
I just want to talk to you.
Okay, so the answer here is B. So we take 2, 18, we have 14 times 2 is 28, 14 times 4 is 56, and 14 times 7 is 98. If you got that right, good job. Here's the video, and happy studying. So great job, everyone. We are almost done with our first one, so I'll be right back.